Okay, sure, guys. I'm happy to have you here. Also, just love later. It's a content we are writing to inspire people. Like, that's what the end goal of this content is, to inspire somebody. Is to give them motivation about the pressures that we have in life and everything that comes with it. So, the first thing that I want us to talk about is what are the worst decisions that people do when they have money? You know, after getting a job, there are normally those big things that people buy that they shouldn't even buy. But what are those things that you say, like, okay, if you have money or you just got a job maybe for a year or for a few months, this is the worst thing that you can ever buy? I don't know who would want to start with you. Like, you're going to introduce yourselves as you continue, so that you introduce yourself the way you're comfortable to be introduced.
Okay. I don't mind going first. Okay. My name is Keletso. Thank you for having me today. Thanks. I think okay.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that applies to both getting a job or having money is that people tend to have a difficulty on differentiating between an asset and a liability.
Mm-hmm.
That's where everything starts off.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody would acquire something and think they have acquired an asset, whereas it's just a liability, you see. So people tend to misuse funds because in their mindset they say that I'm acquiring this car, but in actual fact it's just a liability that is adding more pressure and more expenses to his or her lifestyle. Like in cases for people back at home, you'll see people getting like freshman jobs, good jobs, and then somebody runs off with a 15,000 of income to buy a fruit pan, honestly, a VW, sorry. And then you see that this VW is like, there's a stock order of 6,000 back to West Bank. There's issue of petrol, there's the issue of what do you call it, insurance. You see, and then you end up with half of your money. So those are the kind of the decisions that people tend to get trapped in once they get jobs. They don't know how to differentiate between an asset and liability. Yeah. I think you can.
Mr. Kolobe?
Yeah, I think the main reason why so many people like actually fall into the trap of opting for something so big is because our society, we are deemed as powerful or as impactful after you buy something that is of value. Like, you'll tell them that I want them to see me that I can buy a BMW.
Yeah.
Because after you get a job, then you buy a very small car that is maybe Suzuki. Just a car that has more value in our society. People are not going to take you serious. They will be like, you found a job, how much are you getting?
Yeah,
so even if you can tell them that, hey, I'm earning 60,000, no one is going to believe that, you're earning 60,000. When you're earning 60,000, why don't you buy a Mercedes-Benz car than a Suzuki? So our society is so backward in that way because in everything that you do, you are always deemed. And this actually forces us to say, no, we have to be compliant to the society because they won't see me driving a Corolla. I have a job. I'm being to be seen. So I want to be seen. So the main reason why I fall into this is because we want to be relevant. I want to find that, that is not where to start. You can actually start small and be whatever you want to be. But most of us, we don't have the patience. We like, I'm going to the dealership, I'm going to swipe.
And so very
you see. So we end up falling for that trap because we want fame and for the grab, for Instagram. Like, I want to be a leader because I want to be relevant.
Do they even swipe or they request for loans?
They will tell you that they swipe.
Actually, but in actual life, it's not swiping.
Because they'll tell you that I swiped this car only to find that
and I think when you're saying this, I think there's a thin line between affording something Because they normally, like, dealerships are going to approach you, or banks are going to approach you. When you get a certain amount of money, they tell you, like, okay, since you're earning 4,000, you can make an installment of this much. Normally, they don't say everything out. Like you mentioned earlier, like, you talked of insurance, you talked of petrol, you talked of service as well. Like, those are the things that they normally don't mention to you. But once you have bought the car, those are things you cannot avoid.
Exactly.
There are going to be tires, your car is going to hit a pothole at some point. You're not even done paying for it and everything. And normally we don't even invest in getting good driving skills and everything. So you buy a high-end car that you don't even know how to drive properly. Sometimes it hits something. Just to replace a mirror, it's so expensive. And with the salary that you're going to be getting. And at the same time, you have your normal responsibilities that you have to take care of. So I think that's one of the things that are really like struggling in our community. Because people can't differentiate, like you said, between assets and liabilities. So like now you have this car, that is a liability of course, because it brings no income to you at all. All it does is take all the money that you have. And you don't see this until it happens to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, like since now we have talked about the bad decisions, what are the best ways that a person can use money or try and invest or try and get wealth? Like after getting a job, what do you advise a person to do? Like, okay, you've got a job now, what are the best ways to invest money? What could you say are the best ways to use money? Because like, what could be the best way to increase your money before you even try to spend it on something that is a liability, of course?
So I think I'll start with this one. You know, the best way to actually like have more money while you're starting, it is actually to start small. You know, you should just live within your means. Because someone would actually tell you that, you know, now that I'm earning, I want to maybe triple my salary, only to find that, you know, it is a work in progress. You know? Like, you're never going to multiply your salary 3 times more just because it is your will or your wish. Right? So for people who actually may be struggling with their finances, my advice would be that okay, you have to start small. There are those projects that when we venture into them, someone's not going to take it serious based on our perception of society, but you know exactly that, okay, these are the things that I've always wanted to venture into before I got the job or when I was still broke. Someone would actually tell me that, no, just because I have money, I feel that maybe I shouldn't maybe rear chickens at the back of my place or my house. So I would actually maybe say that the best way to start building your wealth from scratch is to go into those smaller details that each and everyone else tries to avoid. If you have to start by buying 2 chickens, if you are maybe into poultry, buy 2 chickens. If maybe you are a person of livestock, a house, sheep, whatever, just try with 1 or 2 and see if it will work for you. Don't just say, no, I'm just waiting for a man to accumulate so that I buy a whole farm. No, you're never going to do that. It starts with 2 chickens. You're never going to do that. Start with 2 chickens. Grow 2 chickens maybe to 4, 6, 10, then they'll just grow exponentially like that. A good decision is the one that you actually calculate, and you should just live within your means. Don't complicate stuff that you just go like, no, I'm going to get your loan. No, live within your means. If ever you're able to save maybe like 30% of your income, save 30% of your income and start building a stream of wealth
from you.
I think he has answered the question like quite well. Living within your means, like I said, living within your means. And then I think what I can add on is that, you know, we're different people, right? We have different financial backgrounds and all. And there are people who would have like a portable income, but they don't know how to use income. I would say this, not that I'm affiliated with any company that do financial advice or anything, but if you don't know anything and you can see that you're misusing your finances, just go. We have financial advisors, honestly. I would think every country, whether developing or developed, it has a financial advisory company. You would get a financial advisor. Their fees are not that bad. You get to sit down one-on-one with somebody and you tell them, this is how much I'm earning and this is what I desire, or this is my goals, my end goals, and then they will tell you, okay, fine, but take a step at a time. You see? And then every decision that you make within the means of your salary, you need to upgrade the cost and benefits. somebody was asking me the other time, I worked 3 years, but I was staying at my mother's house because I could see that living in the city was quite expensive. So they would ask me, Mona, you have to have freedom, you are old, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell them, no. When you are weighing my freedom with the expenses of coming to stay in the city, you can see that it's quite insane. I can't do that. Yes, people do that, but it's because they have different reasons. But I can't just jump out and say, I need my own freedom and go. Only to find out that I'm going to spend more money than I could have saved when I was at home. So live within your means. Live within your means. Stop trying to rent a house in suburbs just because your friends do that. And only find out that your friend has been in the industry for the longest and you just arrived and you're trying to establish your own thing and you're trying to fall on the track of others just because you are in competition. So live within your means. Yes.
I think what you just said now, you're touching on something that I want to touch on. Normally, I don't know if it's a thing with many people or whatsoever, but back in Africa, you are a man enough when you have a house of your own. You are a man enough when you have a car, you see. But I want you guys to advise people, and to advise me, of course. Like, is a car an investment and is a house an investment? Are those things investment? Like buying your own house, is it an investment? And buying a car, are they investments? Or rather just securities? I think for every case of a house, is it a security or it's an investment? Like, because like when you buy a house or rather build a house, it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of years investment. So which is the best thing to do? Like, when do we build a house? Do you build a house early, or it depends on what income you have? Like, can you say that's an investment, or can you say that's a security? What can you say about that?
When it comes to real estate or property in general, I think property in general it's an investment. Honestly, it's an investment.
Oh, so real estate, you mean the one that you're gonna rent out or something?
No.
Or just your house?
Just a building. Either it's purpose of staying, it's either for commercial or for renting out. It's an investment.
Okay.
You know, even if you take a loan and you're still paying that loan and still you have a tangible thing to show that this is what I've done with my 100,000 of loan from FNB. This is what I've done. I've built a 2-bedroom house. It's an investment. Yes. It's a matter. An investment, I get it, it's a matter of risk and return. If you're somebody who has been renting and you have that property, you have 500,000 as a loan from FNB, and then you have built and finished that house, you have an option of getting a return or trying to match up with the money that you lose from the FNB loan covenant. You understand? So you can still opt to live the way that you've been living. Leave that house for rental. You get 3,000 kula or 3,000 rents for rental. You push the loan. Honestly. That's how you can forgo the investment term. If you feel like, okay, an investment is something that I get a return for. But in the long run, it can be an investment. When it comes to a car, a car, I think even on social media, it has been argued that a car can be a liability or an asset. So, but back at home, you would see somebody would say, you know what, now I'm trying to live within my means and I'm going to acquire, they call it Japanese cars. I don't know what they refer to. Back at home, we call them Olsan because they are sold in a specific area called Olsan. But somebody would buy a car, maybe worth 70,000, right? And then they said, okay, I acquired this car at the cheapest price. I saved this much for this car. Now it's an asset to you. Okay, it's an asset because it doesn't have any so much of reduction from your salary. Right? But in actual fact, you will see that this car needs savings every time and then. Like you were saying, the tires don't last. This thing doesn't last. Tomorrow is this, tomorrow is that. Do you think that's an asset? It is not. Because you just said, no, I'm trying to live within my means and I'm not going to take a loan from elsewhere. Honestly, when it comes to cars, I think it's a matter of affordability and durability. Is it durable? What you have bought, is it durable? Is it of a state that can be used for the longest? Or are you just acquiring something that, like I said, by virtue of acquiring a property, it's durable because once you have a house, it can stay there unless there are natural disasters that can affect it, then they ruin your structure. But otherwise, it's something that can be used for the longest. But with a car, it depreciates and it eventually reaches its scrap. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, and depending on what you have just said, you'll find that so many people actually they buy a car only to find that okay, this car is cheap, but the expenses that we're going to incur and the money that we're going to spend on that car, they are even more than the value that you pay for the car.
Exactly.
You buy a car, Japanese cars, so you find that the Japanese car maybe it's 40,000. And you find that okay, no, you're comfortable driving for a Japanese car for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you have to replace another car. And then in the next 2 to 3 years, you find that you know, I've spent more than 40,000 rents, and there's no income or any sustainable thing of actually going there. Not saying that cars don't need maintenance, no. The cars actually need maintenance for them to actually like properly function and all this. But I think buying a car, it depends. If you want to buy a car for your usage, for maybe a family and maybe for family maybe, I would say that it is a liability because a car doesn't appreciate in value. It actually depreciates drastically. So I think buying a car is a liability unless you buy certain cars, because I'm a car enthusiast and I'll tell you that if you buy maybe a certain model of this car, even if it's old, just know that in the long run this road is going to go up and appreciate because it is served as a collective or a collection of cars. So coming to the house, this one is very intriguing, but it is actually very good. A house it is an asset. If and only if you build in a location that you know that your property shall also like increase in value. If you're going to build a very huge pension in the rural areas, you'll find that this is just a waste because number one, no one is going to be invested in it. It is true that maybe when property value just come and when the property find that it is high in value, but only to find that you'll even struggle to find a buyer who would actually say that okay, I'm going to buy your property or your house. So my advice is that if you want your property should work for you, you should try to look maybe for an establishment that is maybe near to developments. You see, maybe in the urban. And when you build a house, take your time. Don't run into loans and go all this stuff. You know, I have so many people from back home that actually commenced their erected structures and houses from manufacturing or molding their own bricks. You can actually start there. You should mold your own bricks. I know it's going to take time, but you're going to actually save more money than actually maybe that you're going to pay for all this. So I think a house in a good location, it is an investment.
But can I chip in?
Chip in.
But I would disagree with what he's saying. I agree with what he's saying, but when he says location, I disagree because an investment isn't something that benefits you, even your generation can benefit from. I think if I'm from a rural area and then I built a big house maybe in a rural area, maybe I'm building that house not to resell it or for sale in that case, right? But maybe I'm trying to take care of it's part of my responsibility in a case that I want my children to have somewhere to say this home. Whenever we are going home, we have somewhere we can sleep. I think in that respect, it can be an asset or an investment.
I understand. I think this brings me to the other thing that I wanted to talk about, like the issue of manhood. You see, there's an issue of manhood, which I think it's one thing that we should sit men down and talk to them about manhood. You see, in some societies, rather, I don't know if it's all societies, a man is a man if he has multiple partners. A man is a man if he's violent. He like the issue of guns, be strong, like that's what defines a man. We have multiple partners, you're violent. in some societies, you are a man when you have money. In some societies, you are a man if you have assets. In some societies, like it depends. You are a man if you are involved in crime. In some societies, you are a man if people are scared of. So I don't know what can you say defines manhood? What can you say is manhood? Maybe to a guy that is growing up, maybe to a man who's already grown up and doesn't know about manhood. Like, what can you say defines a true man? What is the value of a true man? What can you say?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
I think with my own understanding of manhood, I would say a man is a man who is able to take responsibility. This issue of a man is a man with multiple partners, a man is a man if he's able to do that and that. It can be a political issue or anything, but I think a man should be weighed to the extent how he's able to take care of his expenses, his responsibilities, his bills and all. I think if you are a man enough, a man is a man who is able to say, yes, I did this and it was wrong and I'm taking up for that action and I'm ready to take the consequences of whatever action that I've taken, right? A man is a man who is able to say, okay, fine, you're saying you are pregnant, I'm going to take responsibility of being a father. That's a man. That's how we differentiate between a man, an old boy, we have an old boy and a young boy. That's how we differentiate a man. You would find that you are somebody embodied in a man's structure. Yes, your mind up there, it's a young boy's. Honestly, a man is somebody who takes up his responsibilities. If you are a man who can take care of his family, a man who can say, I have a mother and I need to look after a mom, you are a man. Yeah, you need to take care of your responsibilities. As for how much wealth you have, how much, I mean, okay, in my case, my father wasn't that rich, but he was a man enough to say, I have kids, I have family, I need to take care of this. Honestly, that's how you define a man.
That's good.
I think on my side, a man, I would usually say that it's someone who actually say that he or she, not he or she.
But you're right.
Like he actually weighs everything, you see, for the best of himself and those around him. Like, if you're saying that in some cultures, you find that having multiple partners actually brings that power or that esteem. But for you to be termed as a real man, in my own instance, I would actually say that if and only if you see that having multiple wives actually gives or terms you as a man of that structure, of that nature, that you actually anticipate to that, it's fine. But I want to say to you that a man is someone who actually can say his own opinion just for the benefit of other people. Just because he can see that, okay, if ever I'm going to push this further, it's gone. Everything is literally gone. So for someone who can actually say that, okay, no, weighing my options, saying that, okay, it's better for me to actually maybe swallow my pride and go this way, you are a man that way. Not saying that you're only serving your own interest personally as a man, but for those who are around you. I think that is what a man is actually is. Like our society, it's actually very sketchy in such a way that they'll tell you that like you are a man when you see that you have money, you have power, you have faith. But all these things that a society actually term or can actually maybe surround a 10 men as it is actually very wrong. You find that there are so many people who have that power, that money or whatsoever, but they are not so called men or solid. Like you mentioned that there's small boy and there's man.
And an old boy.
For someone who doesn't have money per se, but he's present in his family or everyone else around him, like you mentioned that someone actually can say that, okay, I'm going to take responsibility that maybe someone else is I've impregnated someone, or I have finances to take care of, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Or I'll just make sure that my family is safe just because I don't have money, or just with that, and to do a routine thing that I'm secure and my family. That is a man. Not saying that a man has to maybe hire pit bulls of this size and then they should just roam around in this area just because he has to show some supremacy, this power. No, it doesn't have to be like that. So a man is someone who can actually like weigh his options and take the best option that is feasible to himself and to those around him.
I think thank you so much. I think this brings us to the last two people that I wanted us to discuss. There's this issue of competition and comparison. Like, I personally compete with people that I shouldn't compete with, or that are not even in competition with me. I weigh my success or I weigh my progress with people that are around me, maybe my peers, maybe people that I meet around, maybe my colleagues, maybe my relatives, maybe my cousins. So I try and compete with them silently. Then when I don't meet their standards, I end up doing things that I shouldn't be doing. Like at the end of the day, say, this guy builds a house before me, this guy gets a good job before me, this guy is married before me, this guy has a wife before me, or something like that. So even academically, I end up competing with people and comparing myself with them. I weigh myself as more successful or more progressive if I'm doing better than somebody. What can you say about this, like competition and comparison? Like, what are the dangers of this thing?
I think when I was growing up, even in classes or just in social setups, people will tell you that the best competition is competing with your own self, right? I agree with it, but I somehow don't totally agree with the same, because I feel like I need to compete with you. The only difference is that what do I gain from this competition? Some people compete with somebody out of jealousy, but if you compete with somebody with a motivation, like being inspired from, if you inspire me, I can say, okay, you know what, this guy, I'm going to look up to him, or I'm going to try and match up to his standard. Honestly, that's a good competition. But if I'm going to compete with you, say, I grew up with this guy, how can he do this and I'm not able to do this? Then it comes from a point of jealousy. So I feel like there's a good competition and it's needed in the society. That's why we are schooling. It's because of competition. I've seen something from somebody and I want to have that thing. I've seen somebody excelling in business and I want to be like that person. Honestly, competition keeps us going. But it's a matter of the place that we come from. If I'm going to approach competition with a motive of saying, this guy is somebody that I know and he wasn't as smart as I am in life, how can he achieve this much and I'm here? Then you're going to struggle and you're not going to achieve what you strive to achieve. But if you get inspired and say, you know what, this guy is somehow depicting what I want, or depicting what I assume in 10 years I'll be, then you're coming from a healthy place. Honestly, healthy competition is getting inspiration from somebody and say, you know what, I'm going to beat up myself and try to match up to this standard or become more. Yes, but if you come from a point of saying, but God, how am I not managing and others are managing? Then you're coming from a very, very difficult, the dangerous motive. You're coming to say, why can Bodiso do this and I'm not able to do that? Then it's probably one of the things that limits people and one of the things that frustrate people in comparing themselves and getting into competition. Just seek, or just try to think and see what you want, see what you need, and say, but so and so have this. So you can even tell those people that, you know what, you inspire me in life. I want to be like, you see. If he's an open person, he can say, okay, I understand. So where are you? And then they'll engage to try and understand what kind of person you are. You know, back at home, I once also, okay, I'm sorry, but I'll try to give examples of it, like a real time example. Back at home, I would approach somebody driving a CLA, and I was like, my God, I want to drive this car one day. What did you do? Even the other day, we approached an Indian man here, and I was like, what did you do to arrive here? Or what can I do to try to improve? If it's somebody who is willing to motivate you and inspire you, he will say, what are you doing, my guy? What are you trying to do today? Have you tried this option 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? But if it's somebody who is disinterested in helping you, he will just say, work hard. These days people will tell you, work hard. Yes, it's a good advice, but you can't just tell somebody, work hard. You see, people are working hard, but they're not rich. People are working hard, but they are not succeeding, honestly. People who are working hard, but they won't have any tangible results to say, you know what, I've been working hard for 10 years on this thing.
Yeah, like, actually on my side, I would actually say that competition actually brings out the best in this way. Like, you cannot say that you are ultimately the best when yourself alone. No. Like, by nature, we as people, as creatures, you know that you have to compare yourself with someone else for you to be termed as successful. But here's the danger of it. If you actually compare yourself with someone, and you find that the way you compare yourself with this guy, it's not even of satisfaction to you. You don't even know what he had to go through for his own achievements. So what I'm saying is that competition, it is healthy to bring out the best person one can ever be. But it has to be approached in a very good way, because once you venture into more competitiveness with your peers and whatsoever, maybe your co-workers, it's going to act drastically because you're going to fail miserably. You need to know what to do at what time. I'll just make an example. My father always says that, okay, in everything that I do, yes, you are my son, but I don't want you to compete with other people from other side. The person you have to compete with, it is me.
It's me.
It is me. Telling me that no, I cannot win with your age mates, because I know exactly that you are different from those people, and their blessings and whatever they actually have before you and the ones that we have before them is actually maybe the nature or the purpose of maybe God or something. But he told me exactly that no, you want competition, you can't. I am the benchmark that you have to put yourself against. So competition is good, even only if whatever you are doing is going to put you at a point higher. You understand? At a point higher. Not saying that no, you just want to be competitive just because I want them to see. No, it doesn't have to be like that. So competition is good, but use it for your own best way of maybe differentiate yourself and be impactful to others. So that is competition.
With this, I thank you guys for coming. I think I'm gonna keep on coming to you for more insight and for everything. Like, this is conversations we normally don't have. These conversations we avoid. We're gonna have easy conversations about stuff, but these are conversations we need, because at the end of the day, you don't know what the next person is going through. You don't know what they're putting themselves through because of that. So, like, at the end of the day, it's about you getting inspired from somebody, and you never know how much you can be inspired unless you sit down and speak to that person. So I hope we're gonna be having these conversations at some point. I will come to your doors and knock for if I need anything that we need to talk about. Thank you so much.
And before we wrap up, I'm Kolobe and I'm from the Soup. You can call me PB. Okay, so I've been invited by Keletso for Sophia's love letter.
Thank you so much for honoring the invite.
Thanks. It's been very nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.